So it was a babysitter, somebody very close to us. He was watching me and my brothers. And I remember us watching TV, and I was a yeller. I can't remember which brother had a butter knife, but to me it was a knife. And I said, "Put that knife down." And the babysitter said, "I told you if you yell one more time, you're gonna get it." So I thought I was getting a spanking. He said, "Get in the room." And I remember it being really dark. And I remember him saying, "Lay down and take your clothes off." And he left the room for a second. And I was so scared, I was shaking. And I remember him bringing back Crisco. I can't smell Crisco to this day. It makes me sick to my stomach, the shortening. And I remember him using it on himself. I remember the smell of it. I can't stand it. And so I remember it wasn't, I was too small in the front. And so he turned me over. And I remember my spirit escaping my body and hovering over and watching what was happening. And I felt myself hurl myself into a corner and ball up. And I think I blacked out, because the next thing I remember was the pain, and I was back in my body, if that makes sense. And I remember limping out of the room and being really, really, really quiet. And my brothers were acting up, and usually I would be handling them or helping to handle them. And I just didn't. I just watched TV, and I remember feeling really numb, not physically, but numb spiritually.
And when that happens to your child, it never, ever, ever goes away, you know?
The next morning, I was still kind of limping. And I remember my dad saying, "What's wrong with you? Why are you limping like that?" And I said the babysitter's name. And I said, "He put his thing inside me." And I knew that. I was like, he'll handle it. My dad will handle it. My mom was a little bit more passive at the time. And she was young, you know? At that time, I think my mom was 18, 19.
I didn't even know how to react, how to respond.
And I remember him yelling and screaming at my mom, and my mom shaking. And then they gathered the whole family, and I remember going from family member to family member, "Tell me what happened, tell me what happened, tell me what happened." But I think the worst part of it was nothing ever happened no consequences ever happened to him. So I grew up thinking nothing bad happens to bad people.